Good afternoon. So today we will see the energy density concept. So we have to obtain here the energy stored in the magnetic field. If the current flowing through the coil increases by di, that is current di ampere in dt second, then the self-induced EMF in the coil is given by E is equal to minus L into di by dt. So this EMF opposes the rise in current. Hence, to overcome this opposition, the source has to supply the energy. And the amount of source voltage required to overcome the self-induced EMF is minus E volt, and amount of source voltage to overcome the induced EMF is V, that is minus E volt. So the energy supplied by the source and stored by the coil during time dt is power into time, that is V into I into dt. So energy is stored when the current change in only di ampere, but actually the current changes from 0 to I. Hence, to obtain the corresponding energy stored, we will integrate the equation, and the total energy stored is half into L I square joule. So the energy stored in magnetic field is directly proportional to the value of the self-inductance L and to the square of the current flowing through the coil. So this equation is energy density. Energy stored in magnetic field is directly proportional to the value of self-inductance L and to the square of the current flowing through the coil. Now, mutual inductance concept. What is mutual inductance? The two magnetically coupled coils C1 and C2 are said to have mutual inductance if as it is defined as a property due to which the change in current through one coil produces an EMF in the other coil placed nearby by the induction, and it is denoted by capital M, and unit of the inductance is Henry. So what is mutual inductance? It is defined as the property due to which the change in current through one coil produces an EMF in the other coil placed nearby by the induction. Self-inductance means what? The self-induced EMF will try to maintain the coil current constant. So according to the Lenz's law, the direction of the self-induced EMF is such that it produces a current which opposes the cause producing the EMF itself. Here the cause behind the production of the self-induced EMF is the change in current through the coil. Hence, the induced voltage will try to oppose any change in the coil current, and so we can say that the self-induced EMF will try to maintain the coil current constant. If the coil current is increased by reducing R, that is value of resistance, then the self-induced voltage will try to reduce this increased current back to its original value. And if the coil current is reduced by increasing R, that is the value of resistance, then self-induced voltage will try to increase this current back to the original value. Now these self-inductance and mutual inductance points are not given in the slide. We already know this concept, so we will just revise it. Thus the coil opposes, if the coil current is reduced by increasing value of resistance, then the self-induced voltage will try to increase this current back to its original value, and thus the coil opposes any change in the current through it, and this property of coil to oppose any change in the current flowing through it is known as self-inductance or only inductance. magnitude of self-induced EMF. As according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, the magnitude of self-induced EMF in a coil due to the change in the current flowing through it is minus n d phi by dt. Now the minus of n d phi by dt volt. So this negative sign indicates that the self-induced voltage opposes the change in current through the coil. So if the current through the coil, that is I, produces flux phi in Weber, then the total flux linkage with the coil is given by flux linkage, that is flux ampere into current in flux per ampere into current in ampere. It is phi by I, which is constant term. Now there are the last point is there are some applications of the magnetostatics. So the applications are basically a common example of the magnetostatic application. A common example is helicopter, which makes the use of stream of air to keep the device floating. Another example is levitating trains. Such trains are suspended in air above the track and makes a motion using magnetic forces. Then diamagnetic material are used for the magnetic levitation because these materials are repelled by a strong magnetic field. And superconductors are good example of diamagnetic material. So they can be levitated even at a lower temperature. Other magnetic materials can also be used for magnetic levitation. Now there are two types of magnetic levitation. The first is electromagnetic levitation. So in electromagnetic levitation, here magnetic force is developed between electromagnetic placed on levitating object and the circuit on ground. Then electrodynamic levitation, the superconducting magnets are placed on levitating object and repulse force is produced between these magnets and the circuit on ground. So in the case of diamagnetic material, a repulsive force on object is equal to the weight of the object. So typical magnetic levitation system consists of the subsystems such as magnetic suspension, propulsion motor, power system. The magnetic suspension is used for the suspension of object in the magnetic field, and the population motor is required to produce the magnetic force for motion object. The power system provide a required power for magnetic levitation. So these are the applications. Thank you.